Hello everybody, my name is Balаш Vинце from Hungary. Hope all of you are well and wish you all the best to continue our previous life. This is a great honor to have this opportunity from FINA development to speak about how I see the tactical part of water polo at the young ages and hope it will be useful for you. I have participated with Team of Hungary on several tournaments, 3 Olympic Games, 3 World Championships, 4 FINA World Cup, and on 5 European Championship during 14 years, 358 times I played for our national team. As head coach, I participated on 2 university games, 2013 in Kazan and 2015 in Guangzhou. Last year, I coached on the under-15 European Championship. The title of my presentation is Use Water Polo Tactical Aspects. It's very hard to decide what is the most important element of water polo. The swing knowledge, the leg work, the ball handling drills, tactical training, mental condition, or physical condition. I think all of these are important because water polo is a very nice and complex sport. The combination of the technical, physical, and psychological components required to implement the tactical strategy for defense, counterattack, offense, 6-on-5, and 5-on-6 situations. As I experienced, the focus at the young ages is on the individual training, what I can confirm. The coaches has to educate the players for those elements of water polo. There is a plan, what, when, and how. The ability of the other elements will determine the individual and the team tactics. First step to develop physical, technical, and psychological standards. If the players are on average level, we can start their tactical training. Let's see where we will meet with the power of tactics. The main part of my presentation to talk about defense, attack, man up and man down position, and about the counterattacks. In my opinion, in all of these phases, there are individual tactics and team tactics as well. Each player and each position has its own tactics. Every player has a role in every situation in the game, and all the players understand not only their responsibilities, but the responsibilities of the others. The previous days, the presenter spoke a lot about how can we improve a player. Today, let's talk about the team. There will be a difference whether when you have good or weak goalkeeper, center forward, or center defender. The athletes can be faster or slower, can have different physical and mental condition. First step to clear the numbers of position, which will be important later for the players to understand when we talk about the tactic. Offensive players are numbered at 6 against 6 attack as follows. Number 1, number 6, and number 5 position is on the 2-meter line, and number 2 and 3 and 4 are the outside players. In man-up position, number 1, 6, 5, and 4 are on the 2-meter line, and the outside player line is number 2 and 3. How can we start teaching the team tactic? A few years ago, I was coaching in Szeged. In the sports center, next to the swimming pool, there was a sport hall. There was the training of the Szeged handball team. Sometimes when I came early to my training, I sat down and watched the handball training. Once I saw how easy for them to locate the position of the players on the ground. The coach stayed next to the players and easily pulled or pushed them to the right position where they had to move. From that moment, I used this technique for practice previews and especially for new tactical elements. Second step, to use the tactical board if they can understand the tactical situations. With under 15 generations, it was very comfortable to use this board during the training and also on the matches to give instructions at timeouts or between the periods. The third step is the video analysis. Last year on the under 15 championship, there were 16 teams and all of them had cameramen and recorded their and other games as well. It's good to analyze your own team or the team who will play against. The players can see their good and bad moving or reactions and has chance to prepare from the opponent team. The fundamental things in defense and even in offense, all player, all times must to know where is the ball, location and position of center forward, and what your opponent player is doing. 13, 15 years old players are ready to understand what is the tactic and strategy, how we can win a game. The younger age groups has more attention on the attack, especially for the goal scoring, which always appears in the match report. Also, parents have special attention on it. Usually their first question after the game is, how many goals did you score? It's a hard mission for the coaches make the players understand that one block, one save, or one assist is also important part of the game. They have to know the first step has to be to save our goal, and then we can concentrate on attack to make chance to score. Defense is the foundation of the team. Great defense requires desire, discipline, and dedication. The technique and the positioning is also very important. Last phase of attack, first phase of defense. Now I started to talk about the defense. It's what do I mean by that? It's very important that in what position are our players against the opponent players in the last 5-8 seconds of our attack. Especially when there is no chance to score, our players has to make attention to cover the possibility of an counterattack. Team defense starts with an offense that is balanced and can control the game. If our offense is balanced and in control, then our offense should never be beaten on the counterattack. If the opponent is unable to create counterattack advantages, then our defense will be able to play 6 against 6 defense, which much easier than to play against a counterattack. The two types of defense is the pressing and zone. I talk about it one by one a few moments later. Individual requirements for tactical choices. In case of press and in case of zone. What do I mean on that? There are different type of players. Their physical conditions are different. With big and strong players, usually coaches choose pressing because they can dominate in the duel. With smaller and movable players, usually choose zone. With good leg work, the defender is ready to keep the offensive players far from the goal, which means there will be less chance for scoring. A very interesting and nice part of water polo, the timing for interception. Even in this age group, there are many players who is ready to do that. Let's watch a video about it. Last year on the European Championship, it's happened this situation. This is a nice moment when we can see a situation like this, because we see that some of the players in that ages can anticipate what will happen in the next few seconds. Look at this player, he will do that. Also in this case, we can see how important for a water polo player to play with head out of water. Most of the player in defense, when they swim back, they are in backstroke, in the special water polo backstroke, and swimming back and watching what is the situation all around the pool. They have attention on the referee, they have attention on the players, they have attention on the ball. And when the ball will fly, he will change his position and will jump and steal the ball. Most of the teams are ready to play both type of defense, because they have both type of players. They have stronger and movable players as well. Now we arrive to the first type of defense, which is the pressing. This is the basic defense, especially for the younger generation, and the first step on the tactical ladder. In many countries, pressing is the mandatory and the only form of defense till the age of 14. It looks like a simple task for the defensive player. He just needs to guard opponent player, but it's not that easy. Let's see some part of it. One of the most important thing in pressing, that the defensive player has to be positioned in the ball line. It means he has to cover the offensive player. You can see over here, you can see over here, and the defensive player has to be positioned in the line of the ball. If the offensive player, in that case, the offensive player have less chance to get the ball from his teammate. We can see that this player in the blue cap stayed in the ball line, and when the ball is flying, he makes one step forward and makes a good interception. Look at now, and immediately he steals the ball. Normally, that time the defensive player can use the body of the offensive player, and he pulls his body or his arm to have better position to steal the ball. It's easier to steal the ball if the ball is flying from a bigger distance. Many times, the defensive player can catch the ball, but sometimes it's not because he's got in trouble, then he will lose his position. Look at now. This player will try to jump because the ball will fly from quite far, and he misses it, but instead to turn and follow the player, instead of it, he turned back and tried to cover the way for the offensive player to go directly to goal. When the defensive player attacks the player who has ball, it can happen two different ways. First, to make foul and stop the continuous attack. I mentioned earlier that there is a tactical possibility with strong big players to make that type of pressing to vary the offensive players. In that case, in every position, defensive players has to make a foul on the opponent one. It means one attack, maybe about 8 or 10 ordinary foul can happen. The second way, when the defensive team attack the player without foul, it means that the defensive team focus on the time delay. They just disturb the ball-handed player to not let him easily passing onwards. And if the other players cover the attackers from the ball line, it's very hard to find a free player. I will repeat one more, and then we can see the 30 seconds watch. Now is 22, 23 on it. So most of the time from attack is available for the offensive team. The players cover the players on the side, and when the ball arrives, they don't want to make any foul on them, and the first foul happen when it will be just 7 seconds from the attack. And if we will see the positions of the offensive players, they are first line on about 5 or 6 meters, second line on 10 meters, so they have not a good chance to score from this position. The next step, when the defenders focus not just on their opponent. The tendency for the perimeter players while pressing is to focus only their player. The moment after to make a foul or disturb one player, then we can see over here. Here is the player who will later steal the ball from the 5-meter position. Now, when he recognized that his player will move back to his own field, this blue cap player will move back and see that one of the players on the 6-meter line, and maybe it's dangerous for a free shot position. So he comes and moves back and then steal the ball. So there is a chance for him to have to his teammate. Unfortunately, this summer, the Under-16 World Championship canceled because of the COVID virus. I was really interested to meet with the Japanese team and play against their unique pressing. On both of Universiade games, where I coached Hungary, we played against Japan and became very spectacular game. Reaction to ball exchange will be an opportunity to make a counterattack or to build up, even if just one defensive player do it quicker than the offensive ones. The other type of the defense is the zone. The coaches are choosing this type of defense because the offensive team has a good center forward and try to protect the center defender. It also could be a good choice if we have a good goalkeeper and he has more chance to save against weak shooters. Quickly go back to cover the center. As you see, all of the outside players coming back to cover the center forward. Mandatory element, this type of defense, the mobility of the players. They have to move for 15, 20 seconds back and ahead and move left and right. Also important, when they get the right position, they have to give a block to cover a part of their cage. So when the player is ready to shoot, immediately the defender has to pull up his arm and try to help to the goalkeeper to cover one part of the cage. The ball goes away and all of the players, and look at now, in this moment, 2 of the outside players help and try to cover this part of the cage. And also all of the players with their position ready when the ball will come to the center forward, they try to move back. One of them with the head front to the center forward, some of them with legs. Normally, this ability and this chance is sitting on the player's technical ability. When the ball arrived, most of the players went and took it. At the positioning in goal line, it's important that the player move from his earlier position. So the defensive player has to follow him, especially when the ball is going to be in his hand. So when the ball come to the middle player, then this defender has to react that. If he will move here, he has to move to this position. If he will move this way, he has to move there. If the ball will come to the wing players, they have to be ready to jump and cover the short corner. This is the same situation on the other side. When the ball will come over here, then he has to be and jump and cover the short corner. In that case of defense, most of the center defender hasn't got a very big job, just he has to keep the center forward on 3.5, 4 meter, which mean will be help for the goalkeeper that the outside players will stay not on the 6 meter line, then maybe more than 7 or 8 meter. During the ball going around, their focus is to cover the center, but when the ball will fly to their opponent players, they have to be ready to attack him or just to stay and stay in the ball line to cover one of the attack. The standing zone is not the most liked type of the zone, what the coaches like, but sometimes it can be useful because the players are very tired and no chance to change them. It can be dangerous if they just stay in one position and not attack the ball-handed player or not move and slide left on or right side. In that case, the offensive player has chance to fake 3-4 times, and with this movement, he will have more chance to score. Ball hand attack is from zone position when the defensive player with one jump try to hit the ball-handed arm, and with that he can steal the ball. Let's watch it again. The player from here moves back and then with one big jump and hit the ball-handed arm, and immediately he can use and get the ball. One of my favorite defense is the moving or swimming zone. All of the players are close to the center forward position and ready to jump there when the ball is flying to the center. But they will also attack with swimming, the offensive player who is right in front of them and hold the ball. This defense is very hard and have to be well trained. Look at now again. So they start to swimming and then they're coming back and again attack the player with the ball. And then what is important in that defense is maybe no chance to give the ball to the center forward, and look at the position of the outside players. They cannot move even half meter forward because when they receive the ball, immediately the defender is in front of them and no time, no chance to move forward, and no time and no chance to make 2, 3, or 4 fake. So this is my one of favorite defense. This age group is able to use both type of defense and also has chance to vary it from one to the other. Usually at the beginning of the defense, the coaches are chosen press, and later they switch to zone. But at the end of the defense, in the last few seconds, from zone position, they are going and press the offensive players. For this combination, they have to be very organized and tactically disciplined. Now let's jump to attack. Same sentence, last phase of defense, the first phase of attack. This is the opposite what I mentioned at the defense. When there is 8 or less seconds from our defense, we have to be ready. What will we do and how we'll build up our attack? Our goal this time to get to the offense field as soon as possible and have more time to create a good opportunity for exclusion or to score. A great defense will generate great counterattack opportunities. The defense and the counterattack attacks are connected. To build up an attack, it's not so complicated. We can think that one of the side player, most of the time on the right side, has to turn back to ask for the ball. If it's on time, then easily arrives the ball to the players who are in good position. If it's not on time, then the other players arrive to uncomfortable situation. Some of the players can't make good reaction for this. So we see that the goalkeeper saved the ball, and these two players are on the good hand side. This player is on counterattack with 3-4 meters. And because the ball is not arrived on time, that's why when he arrived to this position and it was very nice ball handling drill, but then it had a chance to the defender to steal the ball. Some of the players can make good reaction for that. It will be an interesting video. I mean, good reaction for that when the ball arrives a bit later. Now on this video, you can see up on the right corner over here, follow this player and his defender. So he moves, he sees that the ball just now arrived to the player and he stopped on the 6-meter line and wait for the opportunity to continue his attack. Meanwhile, he keeps his good position to score because he stayed out from 6 meters. This is a very important situation because since 2018, water polo has new rules, including that within 6 meters, if a defender tried to make a foul or make a foul from behind on an offensive player, every foul is considered a penalty. So look at him, and now it's happened, and immediately is a penalty. At the 6 against 6 position attack, the most important player is the center forward. If he's quite strong, to keep his position close to the goal, which means at least 2.5, 3 meters, from it, then there is a chance for the other players to get closer to the cage. Also important that the center forward has to be open position, which means ready to receive ball from the outside players. If we have good quality center forward, we have to prepare our team that most probably the defense will play zone against us. If we haven't got quite good center forward or the center defender very talented player, then there is a chance to play second center position attack. In that case, from the right side position, one, usually the left-hander, and from the left side, from position 5, with a dynamic movement, our player is trying to get to the nearest post and open his position to the outside players and ready to receive the ball. Not only the quality of the center forward is important in our attack. If any player will be in good position and the pass to him won't be useful, then the result to finish our attack won't be that successful. So, as I mentioned before, the center defender arrives 2-3 meters and he's in open position, and the outside player moves ahead, and the defender thinks that is a dangerous position for shoot or have a 6-meter free shot position, then he moves on him, and with a good pass, immediately a chance for score or finish a center action, or chance to have an exclusion. Coaches has to make attention for the passing and give enough time to practice it. Against zone defense, the speed of the ball is very important, and the quality of the fake with the ball. Most common form of position attack next to the center play is the 6-meter free shot position. Several teams, even in this age group, plays that kind of attack, especially when they don't have quality center forward. To make a chance for the outside player a good position from 6-meter shot, the middle player from position 3 drives to the left or to the right side and makes space for position 2 or position 4 players to move and stay and have a free shot position between the goal posts. Next part of the tactical elements is the man-up situation. As the attack against the zone defense, here also very important the speed of the ball, which is based on the technical level of players. We have to develop their skills, which is pretty obvious. We need to start to build up our man-up attack with the basic movements. At the position 1 or 4, player goes inside the 2 meters line and all of the other players moving. So we will see now when position 4 players will move with the ball inside the 2-meter line, and most of the players, especially and at the post players, has to move with him closer to the goal. It means they will cover the defender and has more space for the shooters, for the outside players. The importance of passing from a shooting fake. The man-up position play will be effective if the players move closer to the opponent player and make credible shooting fake. The situation is same, I mean a basic movement. Now the opposite side, position number 1, will move down with the ball. The other players are moving inside of the 2 meters. The outside players are sliding on the right side. This player will not move that what he had to do in a man-up to go ahead, have a look on the goal and make credible shooting fake. But what he missed, that this middle player will do, and moving ahead, good position for shooting. All of the players are thinking that he will make a shoot. On him, 4 players from the defending team has attention, plus the goalkeeper. So from a good shooting fake, he gives the ball forward and has a chance for score. What on this game the white team player number 7 related. Pretty simple if the offensive players has reaction to the movement of defense and find some mistake and immediately use it, that will be the most efficient 6-on-5 finish. As I experienced in this age group, we can find some players who can read the play, who can read the game. So now, again, a basic movement. The ball goes around. And because the middle player between the 2 posts a bit late moving to follow the ball and follow the first post player, then the outside player give him the ball, and then he turned and scored from the post. There is an easy way to exercise the post players movement and finishing when you use the shooting wall on the side of the pool. He has to receive the ball from all possible positions and shoot it. Next part of the game is the man down situation. All of the coaches are counting how many times they are in man up and how many times they are in man down position. Those numbers usually close to each other, which means if we score more goals from man up and get less goals in man down, we have good chance to win the game. Neither one is so simple. I talked about how complex the successful man up, man down, almost the same. One player less in defense, what means all of the defensive player has to give 120% in the 20 seconds. I speak about two different types. Standing and blocking defense. When the white team not move out from the 5-meter line, and they just sliding left and right side, and do not attack the players all of the time, like at the standing zone. The hands are up and they are staying in the right position to cover one part of the cage. You can see when the ball from this position arrived over here, this player moved and tried to cover this cage. This player from this position moved to this position and cover at most he can, and the middle player also stay and try to cover or help for the goalkeeper to cover the cross cage. And now at the moment when this player will shoot, will be 3 blocks and the goalkeeper in front of the player. If we compare with the next one, you can imagine why I called this one for standing defense. The moving defense is quite same and very close type of the defense when it's at 6 against 6. At 6 on 5, the moving defense, the player attack the opponent and then moving back inside the 5 meters territory. Also, they have to swim a lot and then they have to swim back to the 5 meters territory. I will repeat that. So now over here we'll start, and this player, and this player, also the same situation. They don't have too much time to move closer to the goal, and that's why both of them could be successful. Last part of my presentation is the counterattack situation. As you can see, there are 2 types of it. The counterattack, the first line counterattack, 1-0, 1 against 0, 2 against 1, 3 against 2. And the second line counterattack, 4 against 3, 5 against 4, and 6 against 5. Both of them can be different if the team, especially the offensive team, has a lefty, maybe not just one, then 2 or 3 of them. How we can defend at this situation? We can cover the wings, where usually the offensive team builds up their attack. If it makes delay to arrive the ball to the escaped player, there's a chance to make a good defense. In that case, what we saw, I repeat this video, will be chance if the player can't catch the ball very well and has time for the wing player to disturbing him and steal the ball. In this attack, as the ball position changed, this defensive player was ahead with two offensive players, and with a good timing in a good moment, with a good moving, he made the offensive player for a moment, and that was the key of the defense of this counter-attack position. The purpose for the offensive team is to soonest get positioned in front of the opponent's goal. As you can see, this 6-on-5 attack will coming from the reaction for the changing of ball position. The center defender arrived to shooting position. He reacted faster than the center and pulled him and got a bit advantage. The best position at 6-on-5 counter-attack, like at the normal man-up, the four in the first line, 4-player in the first line, and 2-player in the second line. So the 4-2 lineup. Now the defender not covered the wing player. Look at this player. He is not turned back. He is not used the water polo backstroke when the player is with head up and can control where is the ball, what is close to in his area, what is the situation in the center position, and where will arrive the counter-attack player. So this player is in the nowhere position, even not attack him, even not come over here and help or close to his goal. So the players arrive and score. If I told some mistake now on this number 5 player, let's see something good as well. Look at this player. He will be number 4, one of the key player of this attack. Now, that moment, he turned back and see that the center defender arrived with an advantage, and if he will move from here and will make a space, an open territory for this player, will be a chance for shooting. And look at now, he's moving, he goes ahead and pull this player with him, and chance immediately for the shooter. Normally, the difference of the speed of the swimming as an opportunity to have a counterattack. And what will be my last video, a type which is a very dangerous type. I call it like vabank risk, and like in poker, the player says all in. This is an anticipation or a risk, a hazard. This player is who will do that. Look at the time. There is 8 seconds, maybe more, when he left the defense from the attack, more than 8 seconds, and he told that all in. Let's see what happened. Six, 8 meters. Advantage. This type is very dangerous, but sometimes paying well. Usually players do this in the last 6-8 seconds from the outside line. Several times during the presentation, I mentioned that the tactical level of a team is depending on the level of athletes. To the efficient game, they have to be very organized and tactically disciplined. Thank you for your attention. Let's see if we have questions. How to train players to analyze the game in real time when they're in action. Does it make sense to help them develop their gaming instincts? I think, and how I remember, most of the players who have chance analyze the game immediately, analyze a situation, and making a good answer for positions or to find the best way to defense or offense is became because they from their 10 or 12 years old age group, they started to watch water polo games, especially if they did it with his brother, or if he did it with his father, or with coaches, or with teammates, then that was the most important. Normally, we analyzed together by video as well, but that is the important. If we are together and watching one game live, then if some players immediately have a good reaction, that will help for them to develop this. So repeat, and watch many games. What are the main success criteria for a game, for a perfect game plan? The perfect game plan is sitting on the perfect tactic. We have to make tactics what our players can do. It means, like in the presentation, it was moving defense, even in 6-on-6 or even in a man-down situation. If our players are quite mobility and quite good shape, then we can do that. Don't use overloaded tactical or technical elements what your players cannot make. Hope you enjoyed this hour, and stay safe. Goodbye.